What's going on, Bulls Nation? And welcome into CHGO Bulls Postgame, brought to you by PointsBet. Don't forget that promo code CHGO when you sign up at PointsBet to get your 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. I'm Matt Peck, on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. That's my friend Big Dave, on Twitter at BAWL Sports. We got our producer Joey hanging out with us. Will Gottlieb will join us after he hears from the Bulls post-game press conference. Big Dave, can I get a quick dab?
Bam, right there.
Oh.
Shout out to our guy Jake for watching the game with us,
Yeah,
too.
Jakey boy.
He thought he was bad luck until he sat down, and then when he sat down that third quarter, the Bulls completely took off. What a game.
My stress levels went down a solid 8%.
Ooh,
compared to where they were before.
Yeah, that's strong.
That's big for me.
That's strong.
That's big.
Oh, man.
When we were watching that back and forth first half and then that kind of slow, ugly start to the third quarter, I was thinking, oh, my God, the Bulls are going to lose this game.
I'm sure you were.
And all hell's going to break loose on Bulls Twitter and in my Bulls heart and my mind. And then that third quarter run, Dave.
That third quarter run, Matt, was a thing of absolute beauty. We loved every single second of it. Because you're right, in that first half, they weren't at their best, but the game was still super close. It was still a 1-point game, all right? They still were filling things out. Matt was beside himself.
Woo! Woo!
A little hot on the
I made
collar.
Jake turn on the AC because I was boiling up in here.
The last thing he yelled was, "Hey, why is it so hot there?" Then he walked off. He was not feeling well. But yes, man, but that third quarter started, and the person that did it, Matt, the person that really, truly kind of kicked it off for the Bulls in the third quarter was Zach Levine.
Man, 16-point third quarter for Zach. That is his third highest scoring quarter of the season. And the craziest part is that it came after a first half and even the first parts of the third quarter when we were all yelling at the television and at each other saying, why is Zach not shooting these open threes? For the love of God and all that is holy and good in the world.
Oh, we couldn't understand.
We spent all pregame talking about how this team is not shooting enough threes,
Yes,
and
we
that's
did.
your best three-point shooter that you have right now.
Right.
And he was just passing up threes left and right.
I mean, just passing them up, and I mean wide open ones. Like, you're like, oh, there it is right there, right? Nope, wasn't going to take it. Even the ones where he would pass it up and went to the bucket and score, you still like, but you had to wait for that person to get there for you to actually make that move. I don't know why he was doing that, but he was. He was passing them up. He wasn't taking them. And then when he finally took one, I mean, he shot it off the other side of the rim. Like, it wasn't anywhere close. But then he settled down. He scored a couple jumpers. You know, he started getting to the lane, got to the free throw line, and then the three-point shot started looking smooth from Zach Levine after that. Oh, it was tasty. You could eat off of it. It was delicious. It was amazing, and it was exciting to watch, man, because we needed to see that from Zach, because especially guys like you, Matt, who are just, I think, just going to be concerned about Zach Levine the rest of the time from here until the season ends because of his knee and everything like that.
That's my lot in life until this Bulls season ends.
So everything is going to be equated to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In a lot of Bulls fans' minds. So I think it was very good for him to have that kind of showing he did in the third quarter.
Tristan in the comments kicking us off saying Zach is smooth when it comes to transition and driving the lane. And look, to Zach's credit, that's why he was passing up threes, because he was looking to drive and kick tonight.
Right.
I have no problem with Zach driving to the bucket with authority when he wants to and being very assertive, trying to draw fouls. Let's see, what was he free throw line tonight? 5 of 8. So you would have preferred that to be 8 of 8, obviously.
Right, of course.
But the ones that were bugging us were not when Zach was driving and either getting a layup or getting a foul call. Is driving and kicking to guys who can't shoot, who don't want to shoot.
Yeah.
Before Zach started, hitting his stroke late in the third quarter, Patrick Williams looked like the most willing three-point shooter on this entire squad, and he was playing his first game since freaking October.
Yes, he looked. Oh, we'll get into Patrick in a minute. I'm gonna let me stick on Zach for a second, man.
Please do.
One thing also about that, Matt, the free throw shooting, he led them in attempts.
With 8?
With 8. He led them in attempts. That's just exciting for me that he led them in attempts. But this is something we thought he should have been doing last year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The year before, leading his team in free throw attempts because he's almost near double-digit free throws. It looks different now, Matt, when he goes to the bucket and gets fouled. Like it's like no room for anything else but call a foul. Before you can call it on a swipe or anything like that. Now he's getting the body into it. Now he's making the guys, come out and hit him when he's going up for these shots. And it's showing improvement, and he's getting him to the line where he's showing if I get to the line, I can get comfortable, and I get comfortable with my shot. And the other thing he did, Matt, was the other facets of the game. We talked about the rebounding. They were going to need it. Zach said, I'm going to get 6 of those. We talked about passing, guys passing up three-point shots, getting other guys baskets. Zach had 6 assists on that level too. And he threw in a steal just to throw that in for you, man. And it was just great. Like, even him going to the bucket on those transitions in the third after they would get the stop, the way he would finish, I just really enjoyed. And the way he just went up, because it was always strong.
Yeah.
And it didn't look out of control like we used to see in the past. He looked very in control of what he was doing, when he was going in for his layups, whether he was sidestepping, whether he was Euro-stepping, or whether he would just body and go straight up. When he split that defense, Matt, when he went up for that layup, me, you, and I just looked like, wow, that's really special right there.
Yeah, that Euro step through that he had as part of that run was absolutely filthy.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing about that third quarter run, which was led by Zach Levine and his 16 points, is that I think other than maybe the tail beginning, there's an oxymoron for you. The very beginning of that run or the entire run happened while DeMar was getting his third quarter break.
Yes.
We've been talking for weeks now about how DeMar doesn't have any help on this team, and he's seeing all of these aggressive double teams and traps that have really just bogged down this Bulls offense as DeMar has sort of regressed to human instead of Wilt Chamberlain.
Yes. Zeus.
And I think it is important and hopefully something that is evidence of what can be accomplished again, that the Bulls went on that game-changing and game-seizing run with DeMar DeRozan off the floor. That 5, it was Zach, Alex Caruso, P-Dub, Vooch, and Ayo. That 5 made the bulk of that run in the third quarter, and boy, it's crazy that happened without DeMar on the floor.
And I think the one thing that I was excited to see, Matt, was that death by 1,000 cuts defense showed back up.
Maybe has something to do with the fact that DeMar was getting his rest.
Correct.
Although, shout out to our pal Rob Schaefer, who I confirmed this with when he tweeted it out initially, and I thought it was a joke, and he confirmed, no, it's real. The charge that DeRozan drew in the first half of this game was the first charge he's drawn all season.
Wow.
How is that a real thing?
That's crazy. Now, and I know that's not the first one he's tried to take. That's just the first one that he's gotten.
First one he succeeded in drawing.
Wow. That's something right there.
But you're right about that 1,000 cuts defense. They were swarming the Raptors.
Swarming them like bees, man. And Patrick Williams definitely had a lot to do with that as well. But again, we'll get into him in a minute. But yeah, man, like just seeing that in the third quarter, because you saw the best version of the Bulls in that third quarter. Getting those steals not just the stops, it's getting those steals and getting those blocks and turning them into points. That's what they do best. And you saw that's where Ayo started getting comfortable, right? Because he is another person I talked about in the pregame whose 3-point shot was off.
Right.
We saw him as soon as that happened, all of a sudden he was like, hey, you know what? Shooting the ball's not so hard. He started getting the ball up. 5 of 9, 1 of 2 from the 3-point line. And we saw him hit that 3 from the baseline. How good did that feel? Oh, my God. That felt amazing watching him hit that 3-point shot, because that's the Ayo we know. And then after he hits that shot, Matt, you see him start doing the mid-range immediately. He starts dribbling to the mid-range, to the elbow, pulling and scoring. But, man, when they were getting those steals and they would just run to the bucket, Ayo is just a one-man fast break. He is excellent at that, and he was finishing strong at the bucket, man. Finished with 11 points and 6 assists also, man, but also had a block and a couple rebounds. But it was just awesome to see him play that confidently again. It was just a really good feeling.
Shout out C-Red UK. We see you in the comments. Stayed up until 2:30 a.m. their time to watch this W.
Thanks for hanging, my man.
Mentioning that, that opportunity for this Bulls team that earlier on this season was lethal, creating those steals, creating those turnovers, and getting out in transition, but we have not seen barely any of that recently. And we were talking in pregame about the last time these teams faced off against each other in February, that the Raptors won the points off turnovers battle pretty convincingly, 22-10, 22 points off 17 Bulls turnovers. Right. The Bulls flipped that script tonight. The third quarter was obviously a huge part of it, but overall tonight, 29 points for the Bulls off of 14 Raptors turnovers. And, of course, the other part of that equation, credit to the Bulls, took care of the basketball.
Yes,
the Bulls
they
only
did.
turned the ball over 6 times tonight.
That is amazing. 6, Matt. That's incredible. And Ayo didn't have a turnover. Patrick Williams only had one. Kobe White, listen, man, look. Kobe White played one of my favorite games tonight that I've seen Kobe White play. And it had nothing to do with his scoring. And it had everything to do with what he was doing everywhere else on the floor. What he was doing defensively, because, again, he was part of that third quarter too. What he was doing defensively and the little things he was doing, guys, like just staying down on the shooter, not going for the pump fake. He had a play where he stayed down on the shooter, okay? And so the shooter thought that he was going to get that three-point attempt. He tried to pump fake Kobe, didn't go for it. So in turn, he took the ball, he tried to take it to the bucket, ended up turning it over, turned into a run for the Bulls and a score on the other end. That was all started by Kobe White and his defense tonight. He did a great job. His game is becoming more complete, and I like that about him because, again, he's like, if I can't score, then I got to contribute some other kind of way. Now, of course, I still want to see him score because this is what he does best. Him being that kind of threat is what he does best. But just seeing him do that, and that allows the coach to have that kind of confidence in him to keep him out there on the floor and say, I know you're not going to be an issue to stop us from doing what we need to do out there. And so, yeah, I just want to give him his credit, man, because that was big for me, just watching his game just continue to improve as he grows.
Shout out to Big Dave, one of the few people out there who wax poetic for minutes about Kobe White's defense.
Yo, man, it was good. It was good. You give it where it's due. Listen, they say it in the comments, man. Agree, Big Dad. Kobe was great. He really did play well tonight on that end of the floor, man, and I was just very impressed by it. So when he does something well, because everybody's always attacking him on some other stuff on his defense, man, when he does it well, I'm going to give him his flowers, man. Shout out to Kobe White.
The fourth wonder, I see your comment. We're not worrying about that. We covered that in pregame. It's downer news. We're talking about happy times.
Happy times.
The Bulls just won a game that they needed, Dave.
Yes.
I mean, for all of the times that we have talked about the Bulls not answering the bell this season, whether it's games that, playing prime time on national television or playing against these top-tier opponents. And look, the Raptors, I guess, are not a team that you would call a top-tier opponent in that they are behind the Bulls in the standings right now.
Sure.
But they've been playing well of late. They're a team everybody's talking about as oh, dear God, we do not want to face that team in the first round because that's a tough draw. Their collective wingspan of their 7 or 8 man rotation is like the Sears Tower.
Yes.
I mean, my God.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You're back home for a 1 game at home.
Yeah.
You're about to go on a 5-game road trip again. You could not afford to lose this game, and they responded. It looked like it was getting dicey early on in that third quarter.
Dicey.
It's not like we're going to throw the Bulls a parade for winning this one game, but wow.
Yeah,
they needed the win.
Yeah.
They got the win. Simple as that.
And it felt good because the Bulls have been losing these games. And it feels good to actually get a victory. And also what it does for you in the standings. I'm sure we'll show those graphics a little later. But also what it does for you in the standings, just keeping pace, you know what I'm saying, and keeping those teams below you. And that's what's very important. And I like how you talked about, Matt, those points off of turnovers that they had, man. 29-5 is just really crazy. That is just awesome for the Bulls. And, their points inside, was very well. Their front court scoring was well. They did a great job. Vooch, another person who we've been critical of, as far as his shooting and everything, started off like, ugh.
Vooch did not have a great shooting night.
No, he didn't. I'm talking about his three-point shoot. He started off yucker, all right?
Yeah.
But then he hit those 2 big old threes.
Huge.
For the Bulls, man. Finished 2 of 4 from the three-point line, which was big for him. But he finished with 19 and 13, which is pretty much what he's averaging.
That's a classic Vooch game.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. And I'm cool with that because it was important. And it wasn't like I needed the 30-20 from him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was able to play to what he has been, which is the 19 and 13, and contribute that way. And he also, tossed in a nice little steal, tossed in a nice little block. I'll take all those things, man. But, yeah, 19 and 13, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. Marquet talked about the attempts that he needs to keep taking, and we saw that tonight.
Yeah. Big Dave, Michael in the comments said, Big Dave looking very handsome. I agree. When is Big Dave not looking handsome, though?
I appreciate that, man.
Here's the thing.
That's what it is, baby. Come on.
Do you want to see this very handsome man talk to you about PointsBet real quick? Because I do. That's what I want to do right now.
Oh, another one of my favorite pecks is Segway Peck. Oh, smooth, baby.
Can't beat these transitions,
smooth, baby. Oh, and if you want more of those smooth transitions, the best way to support us here at CHGO is to download that PointsBet app and use that code CHGO when you sign up. And if you do that right now, you will get two risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. No. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you will receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you will even get a free t-shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. Get you one of them smooth shirts, y'all. You know you want one. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker, and that's all for making a $50 first-time deposit with PointsBet. And for the first time, y'all, this new feature right here, live college basketball same game parlay. For the first time ever, you can build the perfect live same game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game, and if you want more, because I know you do. Yes, Joey. Look how happy he is. You can also boost your live same game parlays so you can watch live, parlay live, boost live, and party live with PointsBet. And now, if you're in Illinois, you can sign up right there online. You can download that PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finito, all from your phone. And the PointsBet March Madness, y'all. All users can earn up to $100 in free bets because during each round, just place a $50 pregame wager and get a free live bet to be used for that round for $20. Oh, what are you waiting for? They're just giving you free money, baby. So, because once the game starts, you don't just bet. Matt Peck, what you do?
You live your bet life.
Oh, with PointsBet, hit me one time, Joey.
I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
Why would you ever be mad at that amazing deal from PointsBet? I don't know.
A whole wheel of cheese. Like,
Robert says CHGO should make a soundboard for sure, full of Peckisms and Dave-isms. half of my isms are not soundboard friendly. They are also not producer Joey friendly because they would bust his eardrums.
Oh my God! Yes, Matt has already hurt Joey's ears once. I don't want to see that happen again. Look, he's remembering.
My hand is glued to the board right now. Anytime the Bulls win, I got to be ready to just shut the mics down so quickly. You guys just take it from an inside voice to a full scream, and it literally right away.
Sorry about
that. There are no inside voices for CHGO Bulls, Joey.
Will Gottlieb has got a nice inside voice.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Well, when Will joins us later, then you're going to get an inside voice.
Yeah, he classes up because he's an insider. So he classes up things. We're always outside. That's what we do.
Give me time with him. I'll turn him into an outside voice, guys, soon enough. Soon enough. You hear that, Will? Yeah, you hear me.
Yeah, he sees you. He hears you.
He's in his little glass case of Bulls postgame
Bulls
over there.
Postgame emotion.
I can't remember who in the comments. Oh, here it is. Corey Greatness said, should DJJ get more minutes because of his length to help defensively against the other lengthy teams? We saw Derrick Jones Jr. get booted out of Billy Donovan's rotation entirely tonight with the return of one Patrick Williams. Now, look. Did it make me a little sad when at some point in that broadcast they showed a somewhat, blank-faced, out-of-it-looking DJJ on the sidelines, maybe wishing he could get in there and get some run? Sure, because I got nothing against DJJ.
Zero.
Other than what we talked about in pregame, which is that he hasn't hit a three since the All-Star break.
I broke Matt's brain.
I do have that against him right now.
I broke his brain.
He did break my brain a little bit. It's okay. My brain breaks 12 times a day.
This is true. This is true. This is a fact.
I mean... As long as P. Will looks good, feels good, and can continue to up his minutes, based on matchups, that part of your question, Corey, okay, maybe. But other than that, I see no reason why we need to play DJJ for a serious piece of this, rotation right now.
Yeah, please remember, early on in the season, he was not in the rotation.
No, he was not.
He was not playing, all right? He was just coasting along, and then we put him out there. It's kind of like a luxury piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's nice to have. You know what I mean? And I always like to use the analogy like rims on a car. You know what I mean? He's rims. You know what I mean? Like, but when you just need your car to start, you need you need a new radiator. Sometimes you need stuff like that. You can't use that. You know what I mean? But he's good to have. It's great to have him there. And he can help with the lineups because, Billy likes running those small ball lineups. You can run him out at center. You saw you had success with that. But he's been struggling, guys, also. And also, let's let that finger heal up a little more, too. You know what I mean? Maybe that has something to do with it as well. Because a guy who grabs the rim all the time, his fingers should be okay. You know what I mean? So maybe that plays into it as well. But him not hitting those threes that he was hitting before is probably the hugest piece of that. So, yeah, having Patrick Williams back just kind of puts things in alignment, puts everybody kind of where they need to be. We saw that happen when Caruso came back. Certain guys are going to not get that tick anymore. When Tristan Thompson came in, that was the end of Tony Bradley. You know what I mean?
Right.
When you saw Patrick Williams come in, that was the end of Troy Brown Jr.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You move those guys to the end.
We only saw Troy and Tony, the lovable duo,
Yes.
for a combined 3 minutes of mop-up duty.
Dude, that block. Dude, that block.
Tony Bradley went up for a two-handed jam and got stuffed before he even got above the rim.
Yo, man. Yo.
That was one of the funniest things I've seen all season.
Yo, man. I watched him get carried out the club, and I watched him get blocked on the way up.
Yeah. Brett
tough.
in the comments, another big part about having Pat Williams back is this bench being deeper. Now we have Javante or Pat, Io, Kobe, and Tristan. So it helps to avoid the meltdowns with that skeleton crew out there with DeMar. Yeah, like when we were talking about just a Bulls bench unit that was giving you nothing, and poor DeMar staggering some of his minutes with the second unit that was Troy Brown Jr., Tony Bradley, and Matt Thomas. Like, no offense to those guys, but holy shit, that's not fair to DeMar, and that's not a five-man unit that's going to get you anywhere.
I'm discounting these bench points, man. So it looks like, 32 to 28.
In favor of us?
In favor of Toronto. In favor of Toronto.
At least that's closer.
But that's what I'm saying. That was my whole point
the
right
Bulls
there.
usually lose bench points on a nightly basis by freaking 25.
Correct.
Big Dave, Matt in the comments says, what did the Raptors think when their old teammate Matt Thomas checked in with a minute to go? I'll tell you what Big Dave thought. He was going freaking crazy.
I can walk you through exactly what they were thinking. They looked and they said, we've made a ghastly mistake letting that legend go and play here in Chicago, man. Oh, they had to feel bad when they saw him stretching, getting ready to come in, Joey. They had to feel kind of sad watching that man walk in the game and just seeing him walk in slow motion and that glow glistening around him because he is the legend. And you know when you see the legend, you see greatness. Oh, yes! Matty Legend got in the game, and I'm very excited about it because it either means you're winning or you're losing, and this time it meant you were winning, and it felt great. Oh, that's how they felt. They felt bad.
G Wit in the comments saying, Peck saying, no offense, but ... offense. Connor saying that means all the offense towards Matt Thomas. Well,
how dare you? 40% from three.
I have nothing against him personally. I just have something against his basketball skills.
But his shooting is incredible. You saw, boy, when he came in the game, Matt, they had to put triple teams on him. You saw it.
He drove right up to the top of the key, picked up his dribble, pump faked, and didn't shoot.
That's because they had three people surrounding him. The three of their greatest defenders.
All right. The Matt Thomas love is getting out of control. But I am with you in that, hey, if it's because the Bulls are up comfortably late in the game, send him on in there.
Put him in,
have
man.
a ball with it. Just like we were discussing the other night about my love for Scal back in the day.
Correct.
It's the human victory cigar.
Correct.
You want to enjoy Matt Thomas, human victory cigar? Have at it. I won't stop you.
My man, it feels good. But I wanted to get into Patrick Williams, too.
Let's do it.
Let's get into his night that he had. You know, his first night back, coming in off the bench. My thing, and like you said, Matt, when we talked about the pregame, he's like, I just want to see, I want the size. You know, and I just want him to be okay.
I want the size and I want the thighs,
you know what I mean?
baby.
And you got it all tonight.
Oh.
You got it all tonight. Were you impressed by what you saw from Patrick Williams?
I mean, yes, I would say mildly impressed in that he looked comfortable and he looked confident.
Yes.
Again, like I said earlier, he was chucking threes when no one else was willing to in the first half.
True indeed.
And I liked his defensive aggression. One of the biggest things that I liked about P-Dub tonight is I forgot how much better it works when he's on the floor with Vooch, and how much better Vooch looks when he has P-Dub helping him from the weak side.
Preach it. That is so true, man. His weak side help was so strong tonight. Even on that block.
Got my nips hard thinking about P-Dub's weak side defense. My goodness.
Through the shirt. But, dude, you saw it on that one, again, in that third quarter when Siakam tried to make his move in the paint and Patrick Williams reaches out with that paw and swipes that ball and kind of disrupts him. So when he goes up for that layup, it gives Vooch time to gather himself and go get that block. And, I mean, he swatted it, and then the Bulls were off and running the other way. His weak side help, and I can close out and help on the other defender while still sticking on his own defender is huge. The fact that you can switch now and you still have a really good defender on whoever the ball handler is huge. It was very, very vital and important to him. Watching him on defense tonight, man, and with both units too.
Yeah,
it was really good.
And again, was a part of that key run in the third quarter, and wasn't necessarily the one pouring in the points or dishing out the assists. But how did that run happen? How does any run happen? Half of it is getting stops. You need stops to have a run.
That's what you need.
And Pat's defense, his activity. G. Witt saying Pat was active. Not only is that an accurate statement in that he was not inactive for the first time in 5 months tonight, but officially active. He was active out there on the floor, causing havoc. Him and Javonte together, man.
Oh, yes.
Just 10 Javantes and P-Dubs.
Yes. So you see that already. You've already mentioned two players who have already benefited just from him being out on the floor, who we were critical of, especially on their defense and what they were doing. But Patrick Williams, is part of what I'm going to now start calling the Band-Aid crew, which is like Caruso, Lonzo, and Patrick Williams. They're part of that Band-Aid crew, man. That just makes everybody, like, if they're gone, it's very glaring. You know what I mean? For those other guys. And this is another reason why you weren't so hard on Vooch for his defense. And Mark K, too, he would point this out all the time as well. Like, guys, he's alone.
Right.
He's the only one there. He needs help. So that's why it looks like that.
Trying to play that contained style of defense where, guards are passing off somebody to contain for Vooch to contain. And then instead of aggressively trapping, you need quality. You need not just quality, you need above average help defenders and rotation defenders for that defensive system to work. And why do you think they went out and added players like Caruso and Lonzo Ball? Why do you think they drafted Patrick Williams? Because they excel in that style of defense.
It's true.
When none of them are on the floor, Vooch is, say it again for me, Dave, that word that starts with A and ends in lone.
Oh, alone.
Yeah.
I'm so alone.
Now, look. Anybody Bulls fans out there who still tonight want to be trashing Vooch because he can't hit water out of a boat right now, fine.
Can't hit water out of a boat.
As Dave said, though, 2 for 4 from behind that 3-point line, and we needed it.
Both of them. You needed both,
this
Bill,
team
man.
Can't shoot threes, can't make threes.
You know what's wild, Matt? Like, it's funny how we're over here, waxing poetically and praising guys like Kobe White and Patrick Williams who combined didn't have 10 points. But that's how important they are, to this team. And that's how important it is to have that bench help and production.
Because they're not Troy Brown and Matt Thomas.
Correcto Monday.
Hey.
Yes, this is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. They are not them, and that's why. But I liked what I saw out of Patrick Williams. I did. I really liked what I saw. I wanted to see, him take some punishment some kind of way. I saw that. You know what I mean? I wanted to see him get up and down the floor. He had no problem with that.
Right.
With his conditioning. And then I saw him make athletic moves.
Right.
2 of them. The first one was when he went baseline, pump fake with baseline, and switched hands and kind of finished at the rim. The other one, Matt, was the one you and I ran up and down the studio on when that dude pirouetted. And you saw it, Jay. Pirouetted and threw it kind of over his head. Man, look.
If you were in here listening, you would have thought that there was like a rat running around her. Like they were screaming at the top of their lungs.
Actually, you know what? That was us at a 4.
Yeah,
screaming. It wasn't even screaming. That was like at a 4 right there. You know what I mean?
We got amped for a while in that third quarter run.
We did.
And it was the first time in a while because guess what? This was the biggest game the Bulls have played since Dave and I have known each other.
This is a fact. We would have to get hyped up for just matchups late in the season.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we would have to hang out. Oh, Jimmy Butler's coming to town. All right. You know, like, oh, we got to get hyped for that. Not because the win or loss mattered, but we were like, well, let's, hope Zach scores 50 in this game or something like that. None of that anymore, guys. All this stuff matters.
My hype was, I can't wait to hear what stupid freaking thing our coach has to say after the game so we can make fun of it. That's what got me hyped for years.
It did. It got me angry.
Now, look, we know that Bulls fans are biting their nails and wondering where exactly this team's going to end up when we've played our 82nd regular season game, and that we have been slipping in these standings and that we haven't beaten good teams, et cetera, et cetera. We know all that. But a night like tonight, again, when you needed a win against a team that is nipping at your heels in the Eastern Conference playoff race right now, Big Dave and I, in that third quarter run, we're running laps around this freaking studio, yelling at the top of our lungs because that's what we are.
Yeah.
Like you, we are diehard Bulls fans, and this was a big freaking game, and we got up for it.
Yeah. Didn't that feel good? That last part of that sentence is what's important. They got up for it because we hadn't seen them come out like that in these past couple games, right? They had come out sluggish, slow, or they'll be okay for like the first 5 minutes, and then the rest of the quarter, they just go on a drought, or something like that. But no, but again, this is why having players on your team helps too. This is why this stuff helps. Patrick Williams was a boost of energy. Like having him out there was a boost of energy. You have something you can rely on. Like we haven't seen it, but those players have.
Right.
They've seen it in practice. They've played with him. They understand what it is. And so you saw them, kind of relax a little bit. And Pat, he didn't look out of place. He wasn't in the way. He knew exactly where to be on the floor on the offensive and the defensive ends. And he got his scoring in that way. It wasn't forced or anything like that. That's something, and it's his second year. Man, he's knowing that kind of thing. It's the same way we kind of marvel at Ayo when he does those things. Watching him do that, man, I was like, that's good. That's just good basketball, man. It's good to see.
Shout out to our pal Salim, who's hanging out with us in the comments.
Dream
of Bulls Gold. Listen to his podcast if you aren't already,
Excellent
people.
Podcast. Him and Ed
who
Schuler,
said that was the hypest I've been in the third quarter for a while. Feels good to be in these meaningful games this late in the season, doesn't it?
It does,
doesn't
man.
it?
It does.
AK saying, Matt, are the remote controls and broomsticks safe tonight? Yeah, because I left them at home. And I'm not going to break the remotes at this place. I work here. And I didn't buy any of the TVs or the remotes that came with them.
He didn't buy the microphones either, but he might break one of those. Yeah. Not from hitting it. Not from a karate chop like that, but just from actual yelling. And don't break Joey. Like, just don't break him. You know what I mean? Keep him safe.
Oh, I can't break Joey.
Keep him safe, man. Well, I don't know, man. I was worried about him. That was one time, man. He did it like he was in a horror movie. Like
Big Dave almost broke me when Derek Jones Jr. dunked on Giannis. That was the first game.
Oh, yeah. I remember. I do remember that. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
that was our first game here.
Yeah, I met Big Dave like 5 minutes before.
Yeah. and I was hugging on him like he was insane. And I was like, I was so charged on that dunk. Man, I was so charged, man. You just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Because you got nothing but love, sir. That's what you received.
Oh man, do we have some kind of meathead alert like sound system? We've reached our meathead peak of the evening with Logan in the comments saying,
okay,
this Bulls bench unit is now a starting lineup for a decent team. That's not easy to get in the NBA, and we've crossed the threshold of what you can take away from this game.
Not a decent team.
No,
a team.
You know what it is? It's a quality bench.
Yes,
that's good for being a quality bench.
Yes.
Let's not start throwing hyperboles about, this bench unit could be a quality starting unit. No.
And let's touch on the other thing that also happened. Caruso in the starting lineup.
Caruso in the starting lineup.
It started off, I didn't like how it started off. I was not a fan because Van Fleet came out cooking early, man. And I wasn't a fan of it, but it seemed like Caruso kind of got comfortable and acclimated as the game went on.
Yeah. And I mean, I think there are a lot of different ways to weigh Caruso in the starting lineup versus Caruso coming off your bench. And look, maybe part of it was Billy also trying to do that, not just for Alex and the team to switch some things around, but also doing that for Ayo, who coming into this game has had a really rough stretch recently.
Fair.
And maybe saying, we've put a lot on the shoulders of this rookie of ours this season. And for the most part, he has passed every test we've given him and thrown his way with flying colors. But lately, maybe it's finally the third or the fourth rookie wall that instead of running right through, Ayo's met some resistance recently. We've talked about his shot being off. We were talking about pregame, his three-point percentage numbers before and after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Ayo has looked a little unlike his awesome self recently. And maybe part of it is not just Caruso in the starting lineup and maybe a different energy that brings you, a different veteran leadership, taking care of the basketball, playing excellent defense, but also doing a solid to Ayo to say, hey, man, bring your fresh legs off the bench tonight and see if you might want to readjust. And, Ayo didn't have an overwhelming night by any means when you look at the stat sheet. But I thought Ayo had just a good game where I thought he passed up a couple of shots he could have taken, but he contributed in the ways that we are accustomed to Ayo contributing.
Yeah, 24 minutes, but gave you 11 points and 6 assists. I mean, you would take that if he was starting.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, either way, you take it.
And his assist numbers have plummeted recently.
Yeah, that's true.
6? Give me that.
Yeah. And I liked it a lot. I mean, Caruso, also 7.6 assists. And he played 32 minutes. Now, it's all for Caruso. It's not about his numbers. You know what I mean? It's never been about him. It's the game within the game.
Right.
For Alex Caruso.
The Caruso number that matters is the plus-minus column.
Right. Exactly, man. So we'll go check that one out. And again, he was a plus 17.
There you go.
So yeah. So it worked out pretty well for Alex on that end, and 2 of 4 from the 3-point line. That's the other thing we wanted to see from him. But yeah, like I just like how he played, because once Caruso was like, okay, Van Fleet is giving it to me, but those other guys is who he was shutting down when they would come in on those switches, and he would go with the other guy. That's who they were having trouble. You know what I'm saying, with Alex Caruso when he was doing that. And again, in that third quarter, you know what I'm saying, and things like that, like what he did. But yeah, I liked it. I don't see why Billy would go away from it, especially on a back-to-back like that. I think he's gonna go with it again. And also, it kind of keeps it away from your boy when we play in Milwaukee. It kind of keeps that away. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gives him a different look. Because I swear, he hurt Sweet Baby Ayo, man. Like, he's going to be, hey, man. I don't even want to get into that. But, yeah, man, Alex Caruso, I thought he did a good job. I thought he had a solid chemistry with Vooch as well. I thought that was good. And, yeah, like, I didn't have a problem with how he played. I thought he played very well.
We were talking about, Derek Jones Jr. not being in the rotation tonight with P-Dub's return. I wouldn't mind seeing 3 minutes of activity for Derek tomorrow against Milwaukee.
Ooh.
To serve a specific and very pointed purpose, just like you did the last time. Grayson, we're coming for you, buddy. We're coming for you. Your days are numbered, you dirty piece of crap. That's right.
You got to get a Grayson. Do you have a Grayson Allen? What would be a Grayson Allen sound effect?
I don't know. Something combined with like
something shrieking? Or?
No, like a loser bro.
Shame.
Combined with a fart noise. That is what I think of when I think of Grayson Allen.
Do you have a loser bro combined with a fart noise?
We'll work on it.
Okay, he's got to go. He's got to go check some things out.
Do you even beer bong, bro? That's Grayson Allen in my mind. Duke Blue Devil.
But yeah, man.
Brett Kavanaugh. That's what I think of when I think of freaking Grayson. I like beer. I like beer and making dirty plays on a basketball court. Leave me alone. I'm Grayson Allen. I look like Ted Cruz.
Zodiac killer. So yeah, man. But yeah, again, I like what Caruso did. I don't think they'll go away from that. You didn't lose too much by putting Ayo and bringing him off the bench. You actually gained something, you know what I'm saying, in points.
Yeah.
In scoring, coming in off the bench. And that's the one thing we talked about was the Bulls' bench scoring. Needed some tremendous help, and he led them in scoring off the bench. So that was big. So to lead them in scoring off the bench and to also be tied for the lead for the lead team lead in assists for the game with 6. He tied with Zach and he tied with Caruso. Coming in off the bench, getting those things is awesome, man. And we talked about him on the fast break. Like, he's just scary on the fast break, man. To be in that much control, but to be going that fast,
right,
is impressive. And again, to be doing it as a rookie is super duper impressive, man. So I wouldn't go away from it. We'll see how it works with him and Patrick Williams and Kobe White some more. And yeah, I'm excited to watch a little more of it, man. Tristan Thompson with 4 points and 4 rebounds and 2 blocks for Tristan. That's what you need, man. In 13 minutes, that's all you need.
You know what else you need? To have fun on PointsBet.
Oh, that's what he do.
If you enjoy us and what we do here at CHGO, help us out. and help yourself out by downloading that PointsBet app right now using promo code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get those 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you're going to get a free CHGO membership.
Free.
Which unlocks all of our exclusive written content, like that of which our boy Will Gottlieb writes, Mark K writes, I will write a weekly column, and then all of our other amazing staff here covering all of your other favorite Chicago sports teams. Plus, you're going to get that free T-shirt, any one you want, from our CHGO locker of amazing T-shirts. So pick one, and you'll get it for free. If you have any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can sign up right from your home with your phone.
Your phone.
Come on.
Use
How
your
easy
phone.
is that? You can actually download it right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet, Dave. Tell them what you do.
You live your bet life. With PointsBet. Jake, do you have a favorite shirt for the CHGO? Do you have like a favorite logo that you have?
I like the Sky shirt's pretty cool. I think the Bulls shirt is good. The CHGO one on the red Bulls color background with the combined like. Let me see if I'll pull them up.
That's
I'll pull
hard.
some of the good ones up.
That's hard. You're right, but I like the all black with the white Chicago flag one. You know what I mean? Like that one, the CHGO on that one. That's a hard
tough.
one too. That's good stuff, man. It's a bunch of great choices. And we're not just saying that because honestly we work here, bro. But look at, like, they're really, really dope. And they're really, really good, man. Like,
delightful.
They're really
I cannot
fly.
wait for my red with the black CHGO on it to arrive.
Oh, that's a Peck position right there.
I love red tees, man.
Oh,
in
you're
case
a
it wasn't
fan.
obvious, as someone who's a Bulls fan and has lots of red Bulls tees of various kinds.
That's very
that
true.
one.
That's the one?
Oh,
Feeling that?
I'm gonna wear it so much.
I'm going to wear it so hard. I can't wait to put it on.
Look at that, you guys.
It's gonna
Look
be-
at
look at it.
awesome
Come
stuff.
on, man. You can't go wrong with this.
All right, so I think we have a Mr. Gottlieb incoming. Before
Don't lie to
he
me.
comes in and we get his thoughts.
Don't
from
you lie
postgame,
to me.
Can we do this really quick?
What's that?
Well, first we have to give him his entrance.
Yes.
What time is it?
Hey!
It's Mr. Gottlieb
Ow.
time.
You see it? You see it?
With now
up,
Dame
people?
officially being shut down for the season, didn't that news come like yesterday or earlier today? You have officially taken over, Will. That is
Damn
your
time.
mantle now.
Or does that mean that I'm just out for the year? You guys don't want me on the pod for
Man's
the rest of
playing
the year.
injured. No, you're playing hurt, and that's what makes you great. That's
No, because we don't get Dame time, so we need Will time to fill its place.
what the people need, man.
I'll give the people what they want.
Yes!
Exactly.
He's a
And
pleaser.
I'll do my best anyway.
What the people
pleaser.
want is what are the key takeaways from post-game thoughts from Billy and the players tonight?
Everybody seemed very, cool-headed, even-keeled, but obviously there was a sense of like excitement. Kind of, we got our swagger back a little bit. What's that, Joey?
Sorry, I just missed a premium sound effect opportunity. I'm sorry.
The moment is not.
You'll
It's
get
not
it next
over
time,
yet.
man. You'll get it next
There's
time.
literally a sound effect where he says, "I just got my swagger back."
We'll,
I
we'll
can't believe
let you
it.
pull it up here, but yeah, man, they were happy. They were glad that Patrick played really well. He's a super charismatic guy. Like, he's very quiet, but when he's in the press conference, he seems like a really good guy. Really got into the way that he was playing and thinking about his wrist while he's on the floor and picking his spots and what the Bulls need to do when DeMar gets trapped and Vooch gets, a lot of attention on those short roll plays. So he's happy to be back. I think Zach was, happy that Pat was back. He had some nice things to say. So just seems like good spirits today considering the importance of this game.
What did Billy have to say about starting Caruso in this one?
Caruso will continue to start. He will be in the starting lineup.
Hey, man,
And I
if it
think-
leads to wins, cool.
Yeah, we with it.
He also, both Billy and Zach mentioned that this experience starting for Aya was really great now because he moves back to the bench into that Caruso role with a ton of experience, both ball handling and just like being that lead stopper.
Yeah.
So I think that will, be really good for him moving forward where he can like settle into something that probably
Right.
makes more sense for him.
And we were just talking right before you came in and joined us about maybe, Billy doing that not just for Caruso and what he brings, but also as a favor to Ayo to be like, hey, dude, you filled in great, Rook. Now you can, not regress, but just return to a role that you are better suited for. Perhaps.
Yeah, I think that has kind of been like a misconception about even Pat to a certain extent. Like he's 20 years old. He's still getting better. He's still learning the game. He's still getting his timing back for one. Like missing 5 months of live speed basketball is like a hard thing to come back from. So, oh God, what are you pulling up here, Joey?
Everybody in the chat is
Our
talking
producer's
about.
pulling up side by sides of Grayson Allen and Ted Cruz.
There you go. I'll
Because
show
he's a good
everybody.
producer.
Because he's a good producer. That's what happens.
That's what
It's just a little
everybody in the
distracting.
comments saying. Oh my God, I can't believe I've never seen that before. So I had to check it out.
Oh, they didn't know?
Then you're not following me on Twitter because I make fun of
seriously.
Grayson Allen by calling him Ted Cruz all the time.
All the time. That's what he does. My goodness.
What were we saying?
Oh,
I
sorry.
have
got you.
no
I got you.
idea
I got you.
what were we talking
got you,
about
baby. Let me
before
steer.
Grayson Allen
I got
and Ted
you.
Cruz
I
showed
got
up.
you. I'm gonna whip it back. I'm gonna whip that back. Because I want to know, was there any talk about Zach Levine and his hesitancy by taking those out?
I think that was a storyline that got a little bit buried.
Okay.
With
in
his
the-
third quarter?
With the third quarter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Billy was saying he did a great job attacking. We want him to go to the basket. We want him to be aggressive. Sure. And not only for him as a scorer, but just the points that he creates off of, defenses collapsing, him kicking the ball out, etc. So I don't really feel like the media as a whole was really tuned into that storyline. But that was something that I noticed. I mean, we were yelling about it during this game. Why was Zach Levine not shooting the ball? He absolutely bricked the one shot that he took in the second or early third quarter.
Yeah.
Luckily he was going to the basket and getting to the free throw line and finishing and all that stuff. But it was kind of weird and a little concerning that he just was not shooting. That's not something I would ever be like, Zach Levine, shoot the ball.
Right. But when you talk about this team's complete lack of 3-point volume, I mean, if you're not getting it from Zach, where are you getting it from?
Yeah.
Antoine in the comments saying, I truly believe we won't have Lonzo Ball for the playoffs, which is what we talked about pregame with this latest update. Do you think that there's any correlation there, Will, with maybe this latest update on Lonzo, that they are basically shutting him down for the next 10 days, and that decision to put Caruso into the starting lineup as opposed to Ayo's just holding it down until Lonzo comes back? Maybe it's Lonzo's not coming back, so let's make this switch between Ayo and Caruso now and see if we can develop some kind of consistency there.
That's a good idea. I'm really not sure. I feel like at the end of the day, the closing lineup, the best lineup that the Bulls have is DeMar, Zach, Caruso, Lonzo, and Vucevic. And I think just getting reps for Caruso with Zach and DeMar is probably, and Vuce is the idea there. Also just the energy and just defensive burst that he brings. If the Bulls are starting slow in games, why wait, But let's bring Ayo in off the bench. With Caruso and Javonte in there, they should have enough juice to really kickstart the defense and get games off to good starts, because that's been a real problem all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You touched on it a little bit, but what individual were players really talking about when they were speaking about Patrick Williams and what he did tonight?
Sorry, say that again?
What were players saying individually about Patrick Williams and what he did tonight?
Yeah, we only heard from Pat, Billy, and Zach.
Okay.
So Zach basically was just credit to him for, coming back and just looking like, he's not just some role player who's
Right.
filling, a spot on the roster. He's a really important part of what we want to do and who we are. And he needs to continue to just get those reps in there, and, just talked about how hard he worked while he was out. And Pat, mentioned a few things of just watching a ton of film and doing basically, from what I understand, live simulations where he would catch the ball in a certain read and then have to make a decision. Shooting a ton of shots, working with coaches, watching film with different players to get perspective from, he didn't mention specifically who, but I would imagine watching game with DeMar and learning about how to position yourself in the mid range, and then watching with Caruso and kind of figure out how to position your body, point of attack defense, things like that. So he was working really hard, but obviously being away from the game, he was just I'm so happy to be back.
Was it Thad Young last season who called P-Dub a sponge after 2 weeks of knowing him as his rookie year?
Sure
just
did.
Always asking.
It's easy to
always
forget.
asking, always
Last
absorbing.
year was the pandemic shortened season.
Yeah.
And this year he missed, 5.5 months. So he's like that could
He's
really
still so
stunt
fresh.
your development as a player. And as I mentioned a couple weeks ago, like he's a month younger than Scotty Barnes, who he was like having a little chirping with on the sideline there.
Little bit.
Yeah. So he's got, a ton of space to grow, and it's a good thing that it doesn't seem like he really stagnated outside of like, he just wasn't able to play, but like now his growth can continue. And there's probably things like that he really picked up on while he was out.
And I mean, again, he's 20. There's plenty of seasons in his near future to have those development seasons, even if that became stagnated this year because he missed everything other than A and Z on the bookends of the season.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get out of here, Joey, do you have that clip that I sent you about this altercation that went down in the NBA yesterday?
Okay.
Did you guys see this? Blazers, Pacers. After the game concludes, here's Yusuf Nurkic, who's out with an injury right now.
Wait, run that back. Okay.
This player's courtside, grabs his phone out of his hand and chucks it.
They don't call him the Bosnian Beast for nothing.
You know what this is right here? This is, hey man, what's up, man? My friends bring me in the club. I don't care about your friend.
Dude.
Get out of the club.
So, I mean, apparently just from other people tweeting about this that were at the game, there was some trash talk being thrown towards Nurkic and the Blazers bench while the game was going on. Nurkic didn't take too kindly towards it. So after the game, walks across the court to that Pacers fan who, let's be honest, was holding a beer. It looked like he had had a few before that one. Not that I'm ever judging for sports fans drinking beer at sporting events. I love doing that.
He does.
But took his phone out of his hand and just chucked it. Now, the simple question, gentlemen, is whose side are you on here? Was Nurkic out of line, or was the fan courtside out of line for making him walk over and throw his phone because he was saying something inappropriate?
I am always on the side of the player when
Hey!
it comes to stuff like this, because those guys, to do that, it takes a lot to get them to that kind of level to do that. So when I see them react like that, I'm always like, oh, you did something. You know what I mean? Because these are millionaires here.
It's easy to say, just like take the high road, don't say anything, whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
and like
super
for the
easy.
most part, for sure. But without having been around that or heard what was actually said, those things don't typically happen unless it was something extreme. So
The only thing I could think of is if you told me that an NBA player walked into the stands and threw a fan's phone and that it wasn't Russell Westbrook, I would there's zero chance. I'm shocked.
Well,
Especially given that he's been getting into it with everybody
Westbrook
recently.
had
He got
another
into it
viral
the other
video with
day.
the fan
Yeah.
a few days ago
Sure
where
did.
a fan was being really disrespectful to Westbrook, and Westbrook, I think, said something along the lines of like, hey, man, come on, like, I'm out with my kids right now.
I feel bad for us, man. People are
Dude.
I get it, like he's not playing well, but like LeBron made his bed. He's got to sleep
Right.
in it. And also these are human beings.
Yeah.
Right.
Like just be respectful.
No, my favorite, did you see
I
the
get
one?
that you love your team, but damn.
But did you see the one when they were calling him Westbrook when he was shooting and
Yeah.
he went right over fan like, what you say? Westbrook? He's like,
was
yeah.
the-
That's what I thought you said.
Were you the one who showed me the one of KD a few days ago?
Yes.
Where they were waiting on an
I did.
inbounds pass and some fan baseline
Yes.
who was like
He
within
got
earshot of
fined for
KD
that,
said,
like $25,000.
really?
He did?
When he just
KD
turned and
did.
said to the fan, you need to sit down and shut up?
That
Yeah.
guy wasn't even talking shit to
He
KD
wasn't.
either. He was just like, come on,
He
KD.
said you need to take over the game. He said
Shut
you
the
need to
fuck
sit
up.
down and shut the
Dude.
F up. That's what he told him, dog.
The
He hit
greatest
him with a
one
warm glass and shut the hell up.
still is,
Warm glass.
I can't believe it happened for our first ever
Thank you.
Outsiders episode. Do you remember? And it was the Bulls coming from or to their hotel on the road.
Oh.
And we never confirmed or denied that it was a homeless guy.
Oh.
But he was shirtless.
He was shirtless.
And looking a little ragged.
Yes.
And to Felicio
Yes.
said, you ain't no Michael Jordan.
Yes, he did. This happened.
That
It
seems
was-
kind
As
of
if that
obvious.
was a statement that needed to be said.
but it was just the way he said it. The anger.
You ain't no Michael Jordan.
he was so upset. He was so upset. So I didn't know if he was upset that it wasn't Michael Jordan or if he was just telling him, you ain't no Michael Jordan, dog. You ain't on his level. He's right in both instances.
It's hard to argue with that.
Hard to argue with that kind of logic.
There's some crazy people out there.
It
man.
is, man. The shirtless
And
is what gets
fans, I don't know. Maybe it's just because everybody's filming at the games now, and that's just what the difference is. And fans have always behaved like that. It seems like fans are getting a little.
It's an entitlement thing.
It's
man.
it's entitlement, and everybody was like cooped up in their homes for 2 years,
And they're
two
just like
seasons,
trying
and,
to get a rise out of people.
and they're like
it's always on camera.
always on
entitlement of, hey, we're allowed to be at the game again. We're therefore also allowed to act like assholes at the game.
Right,
like when
right.
Nurkic threw that Pacers fan's phone, I was like, good for you, Nurkic.
for you.
Good for you.
I
It
love the toss.
Reminds me of that great Bill Burr stand-up bit when he's talking about the malice at the Palace back in the day and how all these, simpleton Joe Average people who think that they're all big and bad talking shit to these players, like, oh, come up here, come on up here.
Except
Bill
for
Burr goes, well,
no,
they
please
came up
don't.
there. Yeah.
Dude, man, yeah, it takes a lot to get an athlete. Even Ron Artest, that's a great example. Even Ron Artest, you see what it took for him to go in the stands and
A
just go swing
projectile being thrown at him.
Exactly, dog. It takes a lot of things for them to just react to you and call you out like that.
These guys like have to block out so much noise. But if you back someone into a wall at some point,
Yeah.
what's going to happen?
Show you their
So it doesn't surprise me at all.
The toss was great though, wasn't it? The form,
Very casual.
Yeah,
like,
man, right. It was so casual, like
Very Corver-esque.
this is Will.
You got to wear the socks, man. You got to come
man.
shorts with the White Sox pulled up. One of these episodes.
to right here.
Give the
That-
people what
right
they
there.
want.
Right there, man.
And by
We'll
the
talk.
people, I mean
Okay.
at least me and Dave.
Just you two is really
We are people.
you're
Hi,
the
we're
only
people.
two.
Connor remarking in the comments, unfortunately, Artest went after the wrong guy. That
He
was
did.
the crazy and funny and also tragic part about that.
Right.
Is that it was some innocent guy standing next
Yeah.
to the guy who did the chucking.
His face was like
That just got wiped.
Yeah, he's like, what?
What a story for him.
Man, dude, seriously. Like that was crazy. Him, Steven Jackson, Jermaine
Yeah.
O'Neal,
Yeah.
all them guys involved,
Yeah.
man. But
Crazy.
what a moment.
Very, very, very awesome 30 for 30 about that.
Yes.
There
Oh,
aren't
it was
very
so
many
good.
teams like that anymore, like the Jailblazers, who are just like gonna
Right.
throw down.
Yeah.
Our,
that's true.
our good pal Will
Memphis.
Purdue was a member of the Jailblazers.
He was. Dark time. Wait, look.
We need to
Look, when
do
Will
a
talks
whole
about
thing
it-
about that.
No, man. When Will wants to get it, I'm talking about
Dude.
the whole sky turns black.
Oh,
you know,
man.
the shades come down.
Will
you
had a
see
tough time.
5 o'clock shadow form on his face. A cigarette comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like it's always some dark time.
When Will was playing on that Blazers team, his 5 o'clock shadow was already graying.
Yes,
like,
correct,
man.
correct. He was not a fan, dog. He was not a fan at all.
We got him back in Chicago though. He's safe
He's
and
safe.
sound.
He's
Safe
happy.
sound.
We love Will
Hi,
Purdue,
Will.
man.
Shout out
Hey,
to
Will.
Purdue.
All right, let's get out of here.
Let's do that.
It's not midnight or past it because we're not playing on the West Coast anymore. Isn't that lovely? It's only
Yes.
10:22. That's
How nice is
wonderful.
that?
And the Bulls are in 5th place.
Bulls got the W. Got the W. Give me some. I need some. I need
need
some
it.
love. Pass
You
that
take
around.
some.
Pass
Get
that
you some.
around.
Ugh.
Joey, Air 5. Badass.
Pow. Pow.
Appreciate our guy
Pow,
Joey, our
pow.
producer, for rocking with us tonight. Will follow on Twitter at Won't Gottlieb. Follow Big Dave at Bow BAWL Sports. I am at Bulls_Peck. We are at CHGO_Bulls. And you didn't think I was going to let you get away with that Fred love on our Twitter account, did you,
I
Dave?
don't know what you're talking about.
No, sir.
I
No,
wasn't
sirree,
on
Bob.
Twitter. Why did you put me in
Back
this?
at it right here tomorrow for pregame before Bulls Bucks. Another 7 o'clock tip-off. We'll see
Love you,
you
Fred.
at our CHGO Sports YouTube channel at 6:30. Until then, see red, be good. Bulls Nation, we love you.